So YouTube just released some major updates on how the algorithm works in 2025.
The first thing that creators should understand is that the recommendation systems are really centered around a lot of creators. They look at their analytics and they're very focused on their aggregate performance. But the way the system's working is actually, for quite a few years now, we've learned that not all time spent with video is.
For creators who understand these updates, this is a major opportunity. But for those who don't, you'll probably get left behind. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how the recommendation system works in 2025, how these changes are going to impact the videos that you make, and what you need to do slightly differently and tweak on your channel to make sure that it keeps growing. Now, there won't be any speculation, theory, rumour or innuendo in this video because it's going to be cold hard facts that come from the very people who maintain the YouTube algorithm, which they often like to refer to themselves as YouTube's recommendation systems. And the first update may completely change the way you think about how you make your videos forever. It's also quite important because the fundamentals of it go against a lot of what many creators believe to be true when it comes to getting views for their videos. You see, when it comes to how the algorithm works, one of the most common questions we get from creators is this.
Oh, come on, this isn't fair. Why isn't the algorithm pushing my videos to more people?
Nice stereotyping there. But I do get why people may think the algorithm works like this, a rewards-based system based upon output of content. You post fresh content, the algorithm tests this out with audiences, and if they like it, YouTube's going to continue to share it with more audiences. However, according to a lovely chap called Todd Beaupre, you may have come across that name before here at VidIQ, as he is the head of product and discovery at YouTube. This isn't really how the YouTube algorithm works.
The first thing that creators should understand is that the recommendation systems are really centered around each individual viewer. Okay. So oftentimes creators will say, hey, the recommendation system is pushing out my video to people.
Or why isn't it pushing out my video to people?
Yes, they may ask that. And the way it works is it isn't so much about pushing it out as much as it's pulling for each viewer. So when you open the homepage, YouTube is going to say, hey, Renee's here. We need to give Renee the best content that is going to make Renee happy today. It's very much centered around each individual person and ranking the videos for them, as opposed to looking at each individual video and trying to figure out who might like it.
Try to think of it as automated word of mouth. The system learns what similar viewers enjoy and recommends based off of that. It is never trying to just randomly push content out to viewers. Instead, because this is viewer-centric, it is pulling in content that the specific viewer is likely to want to watch. Now, if you'll allow me to indulge myself for just one moment, imagine YouTube is like a fridge and I'm a consumer. I come to this fridge, but you know what? I'm not interested in this. I don't think I'm really interested in these either. And I'll tell you what I am definitely not interested in is any of this. But what I am really interested in are these. And over time, YouTube will know that when I come to this proverbial fridge, it's going to recommend more of this. It's actually not edible. What that means for you is that instead of trying to get YouTube to just push your videos out to more and more people, you want to focus on making content for that ideal viewer that can't resist watching it. Because when YouTube finds someone who is your perfect viewer, it will pull your video right to their homepage. And then, and this is a really critical part of the entire operation, if they enjoy that video, then it's going to be pulled to the homepage of more and more similar viewers. Hi everyone, I'm very similar to that previous fridge consumer, only that I'm wearing slightly different glasses and a different t-shirt, but yeah, I love trying to eat these and failing. But it also means that because the YouTube fridge knows this about me, it can recommend these and also these, and oh wow, this looks really non-edible and tasty. Is this metaphor making any sense? Well, here's the thing. Even if you do understand whether or not YouTube pulls videos rather than pushes videos to viewers, a lot of creators get really hung up on this next thing when they're trying to understand the YouTube algorithm. And it's all about this, if you know what this is. Think about how you currently analyze the performance of your videos on your channel. Right now, when you post a video, you probably obsess over your average view duration and click-through rate. Probably both, convinced that hitting certain numbers will make your videos perform better. You might even spend hours comparing your metrics with other channels, and if you don't hit a 10% click-through rate or 5-minute average view duration, then you freak out and think your videos are going to flop. Now, none of this is to be ashamed of. This is completely normal YouTuber behavior. This is how we analyze our videos, by obsessing over graphs like this. Is it going down? But what if I told you the performance of your video isn't just determined by the metrics you see in your YouTube studio?
So a lot of creators, they look at their analytics and they're very focused on their aggregate performance because that's the easiest thing that we can kind of present. But the way the system's working is actually, it's not just using that average view duration or the average click-through rate. It's using the performance data as input, but ultimately trying to understand and predict for each viewer. It's kind of similar to how recommendations work outside of recommendation systems. The system is able to understand what other viewers like you have watched, and then based on understanding what they enjoyed and what they didn't, it can help when it's time to give recommendations to you.
So what Todd is saying here is that when you upload a video to YouTube, it isn't just looking at your overall metrics. It's also looking at how different groups of viewers respond to your content and which types of viewers love your videos. This means that for YouTube as a whole, there is no magic number to optimize for. Watch time matters more for TV viewing and podcasts, while likes are more important for music. The algorithm simply adapts to what it cares about based on what you're watching, where and when. This is why a video with, let's say, 3% click-through rate and bad retention might get thousands of views, while a video with over 7% click-through rate and bad retention metrics struggles to hit 500 views. It's not just about how good your metrics are on any given video, but how strongly your videos connect with specific viewers. So the key here is to not focus so much on viewer metrics that are being spat out by the YouTube studio, and instead concentrate on your core audience and the type of videos they're going to fall in love with when you publish them on your channel. That way, you've got a much better chance of having those, let's call them sweet viral moments. Now that can be a tricky concept to come to terms with, that the numbers YouTube are throwing at you aren't always that important. But when you start to understand what Todd is going to talk about next when it comes to the algorithm, particularly in terms of watch time, it may completely change the way you think about all of this. You see, there is a common belief on the YouTube platform that more watch time means better performance of videos. That if you can keep people watching for longer on your videos, it keeps people on the YouTube platform serving more ads, everybody wins, right? Seems logical, doesn't it? But there's actually a lot more to it than that. Take this video as an example. It has a watch time of nearly 8 minutes, which is well above the vidIQ channel average, but flatlining views. Whereas this video, with less than a third of the average view duration compared to the previous video, and a tiny click-through rate, has stormed through 4 million views.
For quite a few years now, we've learned that not all time spent with video is equally valued by our viewers. We get feedback that viewers want some videos to be a lot more efficient in getting to the point and the value that they get from them. And so while we do look at how long people watch videos, it's only one of the factors that we consider when understanding the value people are getting.
So is Todd saying here that the YouTube algorithm doesn't value watch time? No, it's not quite as simple as that. But what he's trying to say is that the algorithm or YouTube recommendation systems value other things as well, such as satisfaction over pure raw engagement of a video. Some videos, for example, deliver more value to the viewer in 5 minutes than another video does to somebody in 20 minutes. And that's what the recommendation system is really good at measuring. Basically, the algorithm can tell when a creator is actually being really efficient with their viewers, and it can do it through signals such as likes, surveys, and viewing patterns. Let me throw this one at you. Have you ever watched part of a YouTube video? You've not got all of the way through it. Let's say it's an hour-long video, but what you've watched, you've really enjoyed, but you need to go away and do something else. And then the following day, you come back to YouTube to finish watching that video. Is that a good signal or a bad signal? Well, it convinced you to come back to YouTube, so what do you think? But how do you measure that from just pure watch time in a single viewing session, if that's all you're going to think about? So I would encourage you to stop worrying about watch time and stretching out those videos as long as possible, and instead focus on maximizing the value that you're delivering to your viewers, whether the video is 5 minutes or 50 minutes long. And finally, I have saved the best till last, and I'm not talking about algorithm hacks, but my amazing Star Trek collection. I've just alienated my entire audience there, haven't I? I've always considered YouTube's AI systems to be incredibly advanced, years before it was a fashionable topic to talk about, and they haven't been sitting still either.
So for those of you who have played around with Gemini or ChatGPT or some of these other chatbots, the technology behind them is a large language model. We've applied the large language model technology to recommendations at YouTube because the models are larger, and what that enables them to do is develop a deeper, more nuanced understanding of content, rather than just kind of like understanding like, oh, this video is about Indian cooking. It might actually be able to understand the ingredients of the dish better, and maybe some more elements of the video style and how it's presented, or the emotions that the creator might be conveying.
So what this basically means is that the YouTube AI can understand your video on 3 different levels. First, we have the topic level, and YouTube doesn't just look at your video as if it is a cooking video. It will take into account that it is a cooking video for beginners with an upbeat style of content for people who love spicy food. The YouTube AI can also analyze a video at a presentation level. For example, it will try and match up your style of delivery and emotion versus the viewer's expectations and their level of engagement. Finally, the video can be analyzed at a production level. So we're looking at the editing style and how you structure your video and how that will connect with potential viewers. This means that you need to start understanding what your target audience likes on these 3 different levels. And when you're able to do that, your videos have a better chance of being pulled to the audiences that you desire. However, this is all much easier said than done when you're missing one critical component. And that's when you don't know who your target audience is, that ideal viewer that we've mentioned a couple of times in this video. Knowing exactly who is watching your videos and why, their dreams, their goals, their fears, their pain points, their obstacles, it all feeds back into knowing exactly how to speak to that viewer so that you can maximize the value you're delivering to them. That's where viewer satisfaction reaches its peak, and it just so happens we made a video on this topic of how to create the ideal viewer, along with a free worksheet which is really valuable. So why don't you go and check out this video right now while I enjoy another swift drink. It's like ASMR this, isn't it?